Welcome back to Teen Startup TV. Today we have Saeed with app development information. So, welcome Saeed and thank you for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about your business and how you came up with this idea?
Of course. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for having me, and it's really great being here. I'm sure that I will be sharing a lot of info with you as much as I can to help everyone I could. My idea is called Simple Service. The basic idea of it is that it's mainly targeted towards elderly people, but still open to everyone else. And it's an app that you can simply as the name, Simple Service, you can simply open it on your phone and then go and scroll through multiple services. Like, let's say you need an electrician or a lawnmower. You go on the service, you look at the best rated ones, and you book it, and that's it. Simple as that. That is all the business idea does for you. So it just helps people find services around the city, or if they just move to a new location and they don't know who to contact, then they have that app to help them through.
That's wonderful. With that being said, what do you find is your most used service?
Your most used probably be the electrician or a lawnmower. Sometimes in the winter time, I would assume it would be like snow removals or
Mm-hmm.
things like this. So I think it's seasonal. There's no most used service in terms of that, but I
Okay.
would say it's seasonal for sure.
Okay. And you did mention that it was mostly you designed it for elderly people, but what would you say your newer market would be? Do you notice a newer, younger market coming in or like a middle age?
Yeah, for sure. So it's mainly targeted like even the beginning stages with the market research and everything. It was mainly interviewing elderly people to see how they would use it or if they would use it. The app was made as simple as possible in terms of not having too many buttons or too many things to go through before you book a service. So yeah, it definitely was created for elderly people, but still open to everyone else. um, it does that does bring newer people. So like elderly is for if they used to live in a city for a long time, they're
Mm-hmm.
elderly, they have an app easy to use. For younger audiences, if they just move to a new city or a new location, then they can still use the app. Yeah.
Okay. This app is still running today, right?
So it's a bit on a pause.
Okay.
Reason is, yeah, it was mainly created for New Brunswick, and it was supposed to launch in New Brunswick as well. Since it is a smaller city, and after research, there is nothing like this app in Saint or New Brunswick. So the app would have been a really new and cool idea there. And
Mm-hmm.
since I moved away to like Alberta, a really big city, there's a lot of things similar to this here. So it would be a lot of competition to start it here again. Yeah.
Okay. Um, what was your hardest like task leading up to the app? So what were your harder like conquests, obstacles, anything like that towards the app?
Yeah. I think it's definitely was the designing the app itself, trying to show the multiple pages, going having to go designing like page by page and like explaining what does this button do, or if you click this, then where does it take you and why does it take you there, the different payment options it takes and how safe it is, like the transactions, where does the money go to first? Does the app hold it for security reasons and all that? So there was a lot to think about. And one of the other hardest things is how do I bring service providers into the app? And then how do I bring people into the app to use the services? So it was kind of like having to please two sides at the same time. So that's really, really difficult there.
So how did you find services or people who do that service to work for your app?
When I started sending out emails, some didn't reply, but others were really excited about it, especially that it was free for them. And at first, I was offering that I'll list the app for them or their service, sorry, so they don't have to come in and create an account and list it on their own time. Um, And it's also like a free marketing tool for them as well. So they were really excited about it. It's a new thing in New Brunswick, so that also brought in more services.
That's good, yeah. Do you see any future goals that you want to have, like with the app? Do you want to see changes or anything like that?
I definitely want to improve on the app, make it more simplistic, and even like launch nationwide
Mm-hmm.
and to like all of Canada. So it would become sort of like a competition to others in places like Alberta, where the idea already exists. And then after that, if it succeeds, then who knows, maybe globally.
Yeah, that's great that you want to expand it. Yeah. What advice would you give someone who is interested in app design or even specifically a service like what you provide?
Yeah, for sure. I think you definitely need to know some coding languages or like coding terms, not necessarily to code it yourself, but sometimes if you're communicating with the developer, they'll talk technicality.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at the beginning, I didn't know anything about coding, so I wasn't sure. Like at some point the developer would tell me that this is not possible unless we do this or we do
Mm-hmm.
that, and my non-coding brain was like, why is it not possible, I'm not understanding. And then it would lead to like further conversation for us to understand what's happening. But then I actually learned, watched some courses, watched some videos, learned some coding terms and terms to app development, and then we were finally able to communicate well. Um, Another thing is, I would say design. Probably if you know how to work Photoshop or any other design application, it will come in handy. If you want to like pitch your idea, then you have to design something. When you want to show the developer what you want, you also have to show them a design. So I think coding, some basic coding and design is really important there.
Okay, so you do require a little bit of knowledge
A
beforehand.
little bit of knowledge, yeah. So it's not
Okay.
something you can start right away, but it's also not something you need a lot of work towards starting it.
Okay. Um, how did the Idea Center help you get to where your app was at the time being?
Yeah, for sure. So they helped a lot. They introduced me to market research. They taught me um, everything I know in business right now. Uh, they also like taught me how to communicate with people, communicate my idea. They were the idea center is the body that told me that I should do a design of the pages, and
Mhm.
that's what drove me to designing all the pages and then finally being able to pitch it to the developer. Once that was delivered, the app was being developed almost rapidly because everything was sort of created just in a non working way. It just had to be brought to life, sort of. So it definitely helped. The Idea Center definitely helped a lot.
So what made you go from just designing the app to, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to fulfill it, and I'm going to launch it?
Yeah, for sure. So, like, the idea, it all surrounds that one PDF where I have all the images of of the app. Before that, it was really far, like really far fetched out for me to grab. But then after that was created, it seemed to like kind of launch me really close to the app coming to life because I was able to see what it's going to look like even before it was created. And while I was making the images, I also had the option of kind of coding the pages by designing them because I know what they're gonna look like.
Mhm.
It's not gonna like go wrong in the development side because we know what it's gonna look like even before it's made.
Would you recommend this course to other people like you see on the streets or any other high school students, middle schoolers?
Absolutely, yeah. And the course is not just about app development or anything. It's about any business you have, any ideas, new things, or already made things. So it's a lot of fun. Even if you're not interested in business, you get to learn about it, which is really cool. You get to meet awesome people. and it's just a great experience overall.
And where are you right now? So what are you up to? And are you still working on another app or anything new?
Yeah, of course. So I've actually been learning a coding language that is C sharp. I use Unity, the development software. It's mainly directed towards game development, but it also has the ability to create apps and websites. So I could definitely use that to code the app on my own right now. So without even having to need another developers, because I've learned during that while of creating the app from zero to where it is right now, I could definitely just go in and like change whatever I want right now. So that's really cool.
So coding is very important. And did you say you learned that on online yourself or did you go somewhere to learn it?
So I learned that online mainly. There was a lot of errors too during coding. I've had a lot of issues, codes being broken. So those were definitely stressful. I will not say that they were easy. They were very stressful. But whenever a code works, I will tell you that it brings you a lot of enjoyment seeing the code is working. That is definitely really cool to watch and learn.
Okay. Well, that's all the questions that I have for you today.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for answering our questions.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. That's
You're
very
very welcome.
interesting.
Thank you.
So would you think about like coming back to New Brunswick ever and like developing that?
I'm mainly like a big city person,
Yeah.
but I don't see a reason why it can't be developed away. It
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, it definitely needs someone in there to help though, because I would assume service providers would eventually want like an in-person interaction.
Mhm.
Um, but it's definitely something to think about.
Okay. And did you have to spend money on the app? So did you have to like how much did you have to
So
spend to build it?
So yeah, so for the developer, it definitely required like a lot of payments, which came
Mhm.
through Brilliant Labs. So it was all funded.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Thank you
All
very
right.
much. Yeah,
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
bye bye.
Bye.